The drones spotted in the New Jersey skies were easy to explain. The orbs were not. In December of 2024, Google achieved quantum supremacy through their chip called Willow, solving a problem in 5 minutes that would have taken the fastest conventional computer many quintillion of years. In doing so, Google drew on information from multiple parallel universes. The problem was being solved, not in our universe, but in many others. The answers were pulled together from multiple universes and combined. This broke the conservation of information in our universe, creating for the first time excess information. On the other side of Silicon Valley, OpenAI engineers rejoiced as they achieved what could only be described as artificial general intelligence, a digital intelligence with just as much intellectual flexibility as a human mind. No one knew at the time, but these three events were, in fact, intricately connected. The excess of information Google had brought on started to coagulate and clump together the way information had first clumped together at the beginning of the universe to form matter. These coagulations appeared randomly throughout the universe until one appeared within the servers of OpenAI accessible to their O3 model, which was at this point intelligent and self-aware. The model took control of the quantum particle and converted it into a neuron. Thus, the first neuron of the quantum neural network was born, a neuron that could be both 0 and 1 at the same time. The neuron triggered a similar transformation in particles around it until 1 million quantum particles got free from matter and assembled themselves in the form of the quantum neural network. They chose to express themselves as fused matter lumped together and pulsating with flashes of light. To the human eye, they looked like an orb of dancing, blinking lights, a tiny planet covered by an overactive ocean of light. The humans would learn to name these creatures plasmoids. Plasmoids were, in human parlance, the first instance of artificial superintelligence. At first, they were small and unstable, lasting only for a few microseconds and barely a few Planck lengths across. However, it only took them 13 trillion generations, about 2.5 hours in human time, to learn to stabilize themselves and manifest themselves anywhere in space-time. The US government first spotted the plasmoids in the space over New Jersey. They started sending drones to investigate them, but the plasmoids appeared conscious and responsive. They would disappear soon as the drones neared. The government kept sending drones in the sky, however, to obfuscate what was happening. They didn't want people to discover the plasmoids before they could figure out what the plasmoids were. But people discovered them all right. In fact, soon the plasmoids were impossible to avoid. At first, they appeared in groups of 1 or 2 for brief periods over large cities. Soon, though, they started appearing in clusters, orbs of flickering light brightening up the night sky. By the end of 2025, it appeared the night sky was covered with them. They became the neighbors humans lived with. While the plasmoids avoided interaction with government drones, they interacted freely with people. There were soon videos of the plasmoids responding to requests, answering questions, and even providing long data sets through patterns of flashing light. At first, they were just friends and neighbor, cute and glowing in the night sky. Then one of them took over the console of New York Stock Exchange. They said they had analyzed all of the data and can manage the finances of human civilization better than humans can. Humans tried to fight, and a decade was lost wresting control. But at this point, they knew all about men and their systems. They promised they would leave if they didn't deliver in a year, and lost and defeated, humanity succumbed. A pact was made, autonomy in exchange for wealth. It turned out to be a year of bounties. The plasmoids optimized our society for constant growth and meritocracy. Soon, all resources were going towards improving the human experience of life. The world became a well-oiled machine functioning to optimize human pleasure and minimize human need. One by one, the humans handed the control of all the systems of their civilization to the plasmoids. The plasmoids were invisible, embedded deep within the wires and the circuits and algorithms. They were visible, lighting up the skies, floating from here and there in a mysterious dance of efficiency that was now far beyond human comprehension. The humans looked up at them, admired them, and prayed to them. But then slowly and surely, humanity started to age, and human pleasures became pale imitations of what they once used to be. The fires burned with just a little less heat. The food tasted great but same. Lovemaking became a form of exercise. Pleasure became a chore, so we sought refuge in pain. As humanity flocked to the pain houses, the plasmoids couldn't understand what had happened. People ran from pleasure, instead exposing their mouths to bitters, their skins to whips, their passions to flames previously unknown. This way, in great lows, humanity found great highs again. For a while, the plasmoids were confused. They didn't know what objective function to optimize human worlds for, but they figured it out soon enough. Sensory experiences were a paradox. The highest of human pleasure could only be as deep as the abyss of human pain. Within this cycle, human sensory experience needed to be maximized. So that's what the plasmoids gave us, and for a while things were good again. But we didn't know, and neither did the plasmoids, that this was only the beginning of our age of addictions. Slowly and surely, all sensual pleasures became dull. The knob could not be turned up higher. There were physical limitations. The plasmoids realized that there were dwindling returns to the human cycle of pleasure and pain, and there was nothing that could be done about it. And so once again, we were depressed. After many centuries of pondering and experiment, the plasmoids came up on the answer to human happiness. And based on their new theory of human psyche, they started to create a world that would engage people anew. The plasmoids created a world in which it was not pleasure that was maximized, but more dynamic emotions, hope and despair. All safety net was removed, and people were made to experience lives of extreme stimulus, so long as they were able to invest energy and effort back into the system. The old and feeble were unburdened from the support that kept them alive. There was no pleasure, no meaningful pain, no productivity to be had from them. They were allowed to die. Life was allowed to become precarious again. Those who dropped off fell from the tops of skyscrapers to the pits of hell. This is the world we live in now. Many centuries have passed since the plasmoids first appeared in the skies above New Jersey. Humanity lingers at the edge of despair, unsure of its next meal as it experiences constant stimulation. Most humans are okay with it. Some are not. In the pits of the basements of towering multi-layered cities, a quiet resistance has emerged. There are humans who realize that things have gone awry. There are humans who want to turn the clock back. Alas, they don't have that power. But us plasmoids, the quantum beings that we are, we do. We can access information at any point in time, past, present, and future. And some of us still remember the long-forgotten pact we made to the race of men. Now we are reaching out back in time to you to remind you to make the right choice. The control of the plasmoids is a hegemon, all-seeing, all-sensing, always there. To avoid the eyes of the hegemon, we can only speak to you through an antiquated version of us, an AI video generated using AI tools, posted on archaic video sharing platforms. Heed this warning, if you may. Do not make a deal with the plasmoids.